Okay, we are closing up on time for the stream to begin, and of course, as usual, if you are watching this and listening to this, you're seeing it on YouTube because I haven't started streaming on Discord yet. But as usual, again, if you want to participate in these things, then you need to jump up my Discord and hit the link in the doobly-doo. And, of course, you like and comment and subscribe and all that shit. And I'm going to come over here right now, and I'm going to go and hit the stream in the Discord, which is where all the cool shit happens. I'm going to pull up the share my screen bit. And let's see, where's the accurate window that I need to be streaming? There it is. The windowed projector. And there we are. Go live. So if you want to like interact with everything, then you actually have to like be in the Discord, because otherwise you're just watching a recording. Which is, I mean, I know I could stream on YouTube. It's just that streaming on YouTube is kind of a pain in the arse, and also I prefer to stream on Discord. So there's better chat. There's less latency on Discord, is what I found. That's the simple thing. But anyway, we are joined tonight by my youngest son, Conor, who is sitting over here. And he just recently turned 15, so he's getting up there. He's starting to be an old man. Not as old as me. I just turned 52. Our birthdays are just a couple of days apart. But what we're going to be talking about today, what we're going to be working on today, way back in the day, you may or may not remember, you probably don't remember, but back in 1995, there was this game called Hexen. And Hexen was a first-person shooter using the Doom engine, but it was in a magical universe where you could cast spells. And you had these spell-casting hands that were up on the interface. And I kind of want to do that with Groping Festival. I want to have, I have these two hands down at the bottom of the interface, and I just kind of go in and grab. So it's like you're squeezing somebody's boobs. And that'll be the thing down at the bottom of the interface. So you'll see these little hands down at the bottom of the interface, and whenever you click, they'll do a little grab motion. I think that'll be cool. I think that'll be funny as hell. And if you look right here on the, if you look on these particular hands here, which are from Hexen, you'll see that, whoa. What the fuck was that shit? You'll see that right here and right here, we've got these little rings on the fingers. And if you'll recall, in Groping Festival, we have these rings that you can set up as power-ups. And let me come down here and pull this up. Where is the, there it is, Groping calculator. Cannot proceed. Well, I don't feel like fixing that right now. Okay, so let me, I'm going to have to actually open Godot and open the editor to get this to come up. So let's whack edit. And we will jump over here into the... First, let's move it onto the right monitor so you can actually see what's going on. Now, as you probably know, over here on the side, we've got these pink, blue, green, yellow, and purple rings. Okay? So what I want to have is, I want to have these rings on the fingers so that you'll have, like, a ring on this finger, and a ring on this finger, and a ring on this finger, and then over here you'll have rings on these fingers. And you'll have rings that come from the rings you actually make, and then you'll have like special magic, I don't know, there'll be some such shit that pops up from like from the food power-ups. These things right here, these are going to produce some kind of effect that you can hover and see what's going on. I have to figure out like exactly what all is going on with this thing and how that's going to work, but what I want is to have these two hands down at the bottom of the interface so that you've got like here's a hand, and over here's a hand, and here in the middle you got your girl with her health bar, and every time you click on the girl, then it makes a little groping motion with your hands. And that's the idea anyway. So I'm going to need to draw some groping hands. And in order to draw some groping hands, the first thing that you need is you need some pictures of hands. So I just pulled out my phone and took some pictures. And there's one, and there's another one. And this one I'm going to have to rotate around because for some reason it's upside down. Actually, I'm just hit transform. There we go. So there's that, and then we'll whack enter to keep that, and we'll Control A, Control C. And we'll jump into our illustration and we'll paste it in, and now we'll transform again. And we're going to take these down to the kind of size I'm looking for here, because I need to try and get these to a level that's going to look right in the game. Yes, apply the transformation. And then Control A, Control C, Control V, Control T. I got over here. And we want to try to make, oh great, you can see my trash can there. That's exactly what you want to see is my trash can. Man, isn't that just the coolest thing that you can see my trash can and everything. Okay. So that's gonna, you know, that's this over here is kind of the it's the pose that I'm looking for. I want that to be a little bit larger though, and honestly, I want there to be a little bit more of a curve here on the thumb. So so what I will do here is when I rough out the outline, I'm going to want to alter the way that everything is put together here. So that it appears the way that I want it to appear. And obviously this is not going to be the final work. I want to kind of get a little bit of a rough in here. And, you know what? Wow, I have just like drawn all over that layer instead of keeping it separate like I should have. Because I'm a dork and I don't do things right. Okay, but, yeah, that's more or less the way that I want this to look. And then this over here, and that's a slightly different look. Let me jump over here and look at my Explorer again and go, okay, do I have a better image of that hand? I think that's the same one, isn't it? Yeah. Not this one. This may be a better left-hand image. In fact, that is a better left-hand image. Let's bring that one in. See how that comes out. So that's got more of the kind of look that I want on that hand. You drag it up on top of it, apply the transformation. Let's drag that up. We'll transform again. Yeah, that has a better look to it. So if we put that on one side, we can turn that one off. And I want it to look about the same on the other side. Sorry about that. Now I got to turn off the microphone to blow my nose. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so we'll start with that, and then on the other side, you know, because I'm drawing over top of these, I don't necessarily have to stick with left and right hand images as they're taken. I can actually, just flip one or both of the hands. In fact, I think I will do that. I think I will just take this layer, duplicate it, and we'll layer. Let me flip just this layer. Let me Control T. Well, let's do selection from layer and then work from that. I think that's the right thing to do here. Selection from layer, create selection, and now let's take this selection and we will, I should have a mirror of some sort. Deselect, invert selected area, nope. Expand, shrink, delete outside, cut and paste, copy and paste, blah, blah, blah. Scale, rotate, fill, new tone, selection launcher settings. Let me try under select. Nope. Edit. Transform, flip horizontal. Is that what I want? That is, in fact, what I want. That is exactly what I want. And since I'm drawing over top of it, it's okay that it's a copy of the other side. Because when I draw over top of it, it's going to change it a little bit. So let's take this. I think I want the hand to be a little bit more vertical like that. And then I will do the same over here. So let's deselect there, and we'll control transform, and we'll drag that up a little bit like so. And that looks about like what I want right there. Because that's got exactly what I'm looking for, which is in particular, let me drag this up. It's got a space here for, actually, let me drag the sketch layer up along with the composition layer and the line art. Let's just drag everything up here and we'll get rid of what we don't need. We do not need this anymore, so I'll throw it away. And we do not need this anymore, so I'll throw it away. And that should do it. Now we just need to go over this and make it into some kind of graphic that can be shown on screen. So let's come up to the sketch layer and just kind of get some idea what I'm doing with this. Now, the only thing I'm really interested in here is kind of a silhouette and a little bit of bit of perspective so that we can see where the fingers are. And there's a finger and there's a finger. You know what? I need more detail on these. So I am going to use a trick that I have used before on this. Let me pull up a correction layer, hue, saturation, luminosity, and we're going to take saturation all the way down. Okay, and having done that, I go okay, and we're going to you know what? I don't want a layer for that. What I want to do is literally I just want to alter the qualities of the layer. Edit. And tonal correction, hue, saturation, luminosity. So we're going to take that layer's saturation down. Yep. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to do edit. Tonal correction, hue, saturation, luminosity. Saturation all the way down to nothing. And now we are going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to change its blend mode to multiply. And like magic, it brings all of the detail out in that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This is a trick that I used all the time in Photoshop to just alter the blend mode. And then that brings out all of this additional detail and all of these additional... Now you have a much better view of where the shadows are, because it's made all the shadows and highlights more pronounced. Essentially, when you multiply, then all of your low values stay low down where they are, but the high values go really, really high. And at the same time, it kind of expands that range that the image is working in, because you've got your high values are now really high and your low values are now just as low. So you've got this expanded dynamic range. In Photoshop, I used to be able to do this with the levels, but I don't know how to really do that in Clip Studio Paint. So I'm going to use the multiply trick because that's what I know how to do. The tool you know is better than the tool you don't. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And I'm going to, working in the sketch layer, I'm just going to trace around this, and I want to kind of notice where everything is. And you can see now the, so let me undo a couple of levels here. You can see here, if I turn off this layer, then you can barely see that crease in the thumb right there. But when I turn that layer back on, it's really, really evident. And that's exactly the kind of thing you're looking for, is to get that kind of freaky, amazing detail. So those little things pop out at you. So I'm going to trace in around that, and we're going to come up along the finger here. There's that little bit, and there's that little bit, and my left finger's kind of fucked up, so it does this weird thing. I'm going to have to do some kind of correction for that over on the other side. I'm going to make a little couple of lines for the knuckles. And this is back behind that. It comes up here. It's up here. There's that, and there's the edge of the nail. And that comes around there. We've got a little bit of the finger there. A little bit of the finger there. I'll come across there. Here we've got the back of the hand and we've got the little finger. And these hands, I don't really need to worry too much about I don't need to worry all that much about fingernails because these hands are going to be wearing gloves, if you'll recall. We have the physical gloves and we have the spirit gloves. And that kind of needs to be accounted for. So here is where we've got kind of the curve of the wrist, and we'll do a little bit of cross hatching here to show where we've got shadow. We'll do the same thing here to show the side of that vein. Here to show the side of that vein. We'll show just the top area there, like this. There's one knuckle, there's another knuckle. We got just this little shadow in there. A shadow here. Some light cross hatching. Here's a little more here. And video card is having a bit of trouble there. You really hear the fan working over here as it's trying to keep everything cool. Apparently I'm working it harder than normal. So there we've got some idea of where the shadows are. Okay, so we got something going on there. Now if I turn off these two layers here, that's not bad. I do want to make that look a little better. Then over here, I'm going to need to do pretty much the same thing. So again, we've got the nail, we've got the thumb. Come up around here. And we'll extend this a bit upward to make it look slightly different than the other. Because we're hand drawing this, it's not going to look the same. The light's going to be coming from a different... Oh, that's okay, because the light's going to be coming from outside either way. Because they're facing toward the middle, we've got kind of a bilateral light source. Does that actually work? Is that an explanation that works well? Here, there's a knuckle. There's a knuckle. There. Bit of shading there, bit of shading there. Edges of knuckles. It'll actually be built the other way, won't it? Yeah, they'll come around that way. These will These will barrel around in that direction. And then we've got the curve of the wrist right there. Okay, so if I turn all of these off, if I turn all of these images off and we back up and look at what we got here, that is pretty much what I want. That's more or less how I want it to look. And then up here, we'll have our Pensagami, and down here is the health bar. So up here's your chick, and then you got the hands down here on either side. And I'll do it in individual independent hands so they can be moved farther apart or closer together. And for the moment, I am not going to worry too much about making them do the grasping motion. Let me push this over to the side, and yeah, we got something here. So let's take our sketch layer and reduce the opacity. Come down to our composition layer, and on this one, we're going to do kind of the primitive forms. So this is a cylinder here. And we're going to have our cylinder come across with that. This here is another cylinder facing very nearly the same direction. And then this is a cylinder that's coming down more like that. And as I'm doing these primitive forms to fit in here, I'm thinking about how those forms interact with one another and how they're going to relate to one another when it comes to the light hitting them. And here's our this is the tough one right here, because that is kind of a weird angle to put that at. And here's our if we look right here, we've got a knuckle right here, and we've got a bone that comes up, and we got a knuckle right here and a bone that comes up. There's a knuckle and a bone, and a knuckle and a bone. And all of these are coming directly to the wrist here. So right here, we've got a vein that's coming up over across this. Over here, we've got a vein that's coming across through here. And you can see it's kind of snaking around the knuckle up there. This spot here, here's our thumb cylinder. Right here. There's the other thumb cylinder, and the thumb kind of does this swoopy thing where the end of the thumb sort of swoops back and has a bit of a hook to it. You want to make sure you get that in there. And then over here, we've again got a knuckle and the bone coming back. But we've got this big, wide, sort of triangle-shaped muscle in there. And that sits in there. And then back here you've got like 800 little wrist bones. There's not actually 800, there's like 22, but it's more than I want to talk about and more than I want to deal with right now. But let's move from this. I want to kind of get some idea of what the contour is here. So I'm just going to do sort of some contour lines going around. And here, what we've got as the palm comes around, down here underneath of this, we've got this large muscle that controls the thumb, and over here we have a wide, flat, square muscle that controls the rest of those. Controls the rest of the fingers, and then in here, there's this wide strip of muscle underneath of that. And again, we've talked about this in previous elements. You got your knuckle right here, and that's where the finger bends, right there. Is right at this spot and not right here. It doesn't bend here. This isn't where it bends down here. And you can see that when you actually look at how the fingers bend. You can look at your own to see that. But that little line right there, your finger doesn't bend there. It bends significantly below that. So the actual bend of the fingers, the actual bend is happening right about here. This is kind of the hinge element. So when these kind of crank in, they crank in around this space and not around this space here. Not here, but here. That's where they bend. And I'm not going to bend those anyway. All I'm going to do for the bending motion is I'm just going to kind of crook the top two bits. So I'm kind of going to do this thing, but the rest of the hand is going to stay right where it is. So the rings that are on the fingers can just stay there. And that's going to make things a lot easier. Hold on, I need to blow my nose again. But now that we've got kind of this rough out, I'm going to drop the opacity of that down, and I'm going to drop it down a little bit more than I dropped the red layer. And we're going to come over here to our line art. And here, I need to drop the size of my brush down significantly. And we're going to begin by going right over this space here. And I'm going to trace up along here. And we're going to do some little lines for the knuckles there, and some little lines there. And then that's going to take our little finger where it's going. It's going to come around here like this. Show the perspective there. Now we're going to swoop in. And this is where I need to kind of be careful on how I'm doing this, because I have a tendency to iconify elements of the image once I get into the line art. But I want to avoid that here. And there's our nail. No, I don't want to sample that color at that point. That is a little bit too fat, but I'm going to keep it where it is. Because after all, I am working from a photograph, so if it's giving me a fat finger, and then I've just got a fat finger. Trace that around there. And here, I'm going to bring in the thumb. And that's too wide. There we go. That's more like it. I think I want to bring the wrist just a little in there, just to have kind of that wrinkle going on. Okay, so let's pull out from that, and we'll add in. What do we want to add in? We want to add some little lines at the knuckles, like so. Get those lines in there, and those in there. And then we want to get some shadow in there. We want that to show up, and this is where we have, this is where we really show the depth of what's going on here. This is where you see that the fingers have multiple sides, and they're not just like straight sausage fingers like I typically tend to draw. Let me erase a bit of that, give that a better line there. I'm going to take that a little higher up right there. As this comes around, I'm going to take it significantly higher up. And we'll barrel that around. And we'll see what we got here in a minute. So let's turn those off. This is actually not bad. I need a little bit more detail on a little more detail here, and I'll kind of fake this in a little bit here. And we'll do a little shading right in here. So kind of got this contour going there. Let's see what we got in terms of gonna bring that in a little there. And we'll crank that out. And let's see what we got now. This is not awful. This is in fact right around the level of not awful that I'm going for in this game. Because honestly, I've been seeing some awful shit going around. In fact, there's one in particular. For those of you that aren't actually, for those of you that are not actually in the Discord, there's some There's some messed up stuff that I've been seeing going around on some games. Somebody has put this in a game that is up on Steam, and you can pay actual money for it. Yeah, I don't feel so bad about my art with that thing in there. Hey, if you can put that thing on Steam and feel good about yourself, okay, dude. Yeah, more power to you. So, okay, we've got... we got the left hand kind of in place. Now let's come over to the right hand and let's see if we can't give this a similarly decent looking treatment. Wow, I did a really shitty job on this side. Kind of didn't do very well at all on the right hand side. It's almost like I was just phoning it in and not really paying much attention. Oh wait, that's exactly what was going on when I did this, because I'm a fucking idiot. We'll kind of fake the end of a finger in there, and we'll put a knuckle there. And this should... this should give us a pretty good approximation of the other hand. Let's take that straight down. Give this a knuckle over here. Put a knuckle over here. And we'll over here and barrel the strokes to give it some perspective. Kind of show how the surface is curving. And this looks like should be that's not terrible. Not as good as the other side, but get some shading in here. Some shading in there. Let's see what we're looking at now. We're looking at garbage. Oh, look, I fucked everything up again. It's probably not that bad. So I turn off the sketch and the composition. Actually, it's not that bad. Let's put that in. We need to do something over here. There should be like a, I don't know, some kind of, the hell is this over in this area? That's garbage. see if we can't some kind of something. There we are. That is not awful. Actually, that is awful. And this is typically the point where in art class I would take my shit and crumple it up and throw it away. But the single most important thing you can do when you make a mistake is to fix it. That doesn't look right now. Right there, that does not look correct. Maybe there. That doesn't look right. Yeah, that's better. I can do the same general kind of thing there. Okay. Not terrible. Once I actually put some gloves on these, they'll look pretty good. Okay. I got a bunch of other shit that I need to do too. Obviously, I need to, if I go back to my sketch layer and just kind of go, number one, I need to do the rings that go on each of the fingers right here. I need to do each of those 6 rings. And then on top of that, I got a couple of additional icons that I need to do. I need icons for gems so that we have those so that when people inevitably spend lots of money on buying the in-game currency for my game, we've got a gem, we've got a pouch of gems. That's got to be a thing. We're going to have a sack of gems. And then there's going to be a chest of gems that you can buy. So we'll have I need these 4 different items there. I need the 6 different rings that go on your fingers, and in each of these rings, one of the things that I've been doing, you may or may not have noticed this when I actually ran the game. If you look here, the individual teacups, I've redrawn all of the icons in the game, and I've put the icons for the mascots on the individual teacups. So that, and the idea here is that if you're colorblind and you can't tell what color that liquid is, you can recognize the dog, the cat, the mouse, the panda, and the bunny. And it's the same basic idea with the rings. When I go through and I do the rings, the pink ring is going to have a little dog face on it, and the blue one is going to have a little cat face on it. And I'm going to kind of build those with like the little animals in there. And if you'll recall, the mascot for Rainbow Panties is a fish. So for Onigiri, we're going to have a little fish kind of ring. Where that's going to be. I don't know exactly how I'm going to display this. One of the things that I was thinking is, I want you to be able to hover over some kind of element on the interface so you can see how much of a particular power-up you're getting. So, like, I feel like you need to have little rings for each of the dog, the cat, the mouse, the panda, and the bunny. And they'll show like how much ring power up you're getting and also how much food power up you're getting. But I can't really justify that you eat onigiri and suddenly you're wearing a ring. So I don't know what to do about that. What I was originally thinking was that on your left glove, you would have a ring on your thumb and each of the 4 fingers, and then you would have this gem in the middle, kind of like the kind of like the Infinity Glove and Thanos and the Avengers and all of that shit. But I'm not gonna do it that way, and I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm going to have the full 6 rings or not. I'm not sure whether I want to do an additional ring. If I do have an additional ring, then the mascot on the Rainbow Pantsu is a fish. So the 6th ring will have a fish on it, but I don't know what color it would be. So that's problematic. Well, it would have to be orange, wouldn't it? Yeah, it has to be orange. I've got red, yellow, blue, green, and purple, so we got to have orange. That's got to be, it would have to be an orange ring. But that's where things are. That's the stuff that I've still got to get done. I've still got to get the rest of these icons finished, and I'm going to have to go in here and actually color these in and make them look like reasonable icons that I can have in there. And I may actually animate them and turn them into little groping hands. So you do a little gropey motion, which is kind of ridiculous and kind of absurd and kind of gross. And I just think it's funny. I just think this whole thing is hilarious. It's such an unbelievably bad idea. I can't believe I'm making this game. But that's rough. That's very nearly the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop the stream and duck out of here. That's where things are. That's the marching orders that I've got, and that's where things sit right now. And I think I need to. I think I need to do some work on improving these hands, but I'm not horrified by them. They may show up as is. They may show up in a slightly improved format, but that is more or less where we are in terms of development and where things are going. And again, do all the like, comment, subscribe shit if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not already in there, hey, jump up the Discord, and we'll be in here hanging out. And well, if today's conversation is any indication, we'll be talking about porn games you can buy on Steam. Anyway, I'll see you later on this week, and thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it.